Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here, continuing the lessons in A Course in Miracles, in the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And today we are on lesson 96. And today's lesson is salvation comes from my one self. That self with a capital S, which is our higher self, our holy self. And that's where salvation comes from. So it says, although you are one self, a holy self, a higher self, you experience yourself as two in this world, as both good and evil, loving and hating, mind and body. That is in this dualistic world, we'll say. This sense of being split into opposites induces feelings of acute and constant conflict, and leads to frantic attempts to reconcile the contradictory aspects of this self-perception. You have sought many such solutions, and none of them has worked. The opposite you see in you will never be compatible, but one exists. So with this, we're either in our ego thoughts, or we're connected to our God thoughts, or we're either in the space of the ego or in the space of God. Or again, we're either in wrong-mindedness of the ego, or we are in right-mindedness of God. And, we can't be in both places at the same time. We're either in ego or God. We're either in fear, which is ego, or we're in the space of God, which is love. So it says the fact that truth and illusions cannot be reconciled, no matter how you try, what means you use, and where you see the problem, must be accepted if you would be saved. Until you have accepted this, you will attempt an endless list of goals you cannot reach, a senseless series of expenditures of time and effort, hopefulness and doubt, each one as futile as the one before, failing at the next one surely will. Problems that have no meaning cannot be resolved within the framework they are set. The two selves in conflict could not be resolved, and good and evil have no meeting place. The self you made can never be your higher self, nor can your higher self be split in two and still be what it is and must forever be. A mind and a body cannot both exist. Make no attempt to reconcile the two, for one denies the other can be real. If you are physical, your mind is gone from your self-concept, for it has no place in which it could be really part of you. If you are spirit, then the body must be meaningless to your reality. So, no, this is not about giving up the body, but it is to give it to the Holy Spirit to repurpose the body. To repurpose the body to live from the space of love. So spirit makes use of mind as to find its self-expression. That's a self with a capital S, to find our higher self-expression, our expression as love, our expression as light, our self-expression as innocence, our self-expression as sinlessness. So that's what spirit makes use of the mind for. And the mind, which serves the spirit, is at peace and filled with joy. Its power comes from spirit, and it is fulfilling happily its function there. Yet mind can also see itself divorced from spirit and perceive itself within a body it confuses with itself. Again, we think we are a body. Without its function, then it has no peace, and happiness is alien to its thoughts. So the mind is the means for spirit. And when it is in its proper function, the mind, when it's its proper function with spirit, it's happy and it's at peace. It is when it confuses itself, the mind, with the body, and begins to allow the ego to direct its thoughts, direct the mind's thoughts. That is when we become completely, or when it becomes, again, when our mind is connected to the ego, and again, connected to the body, it becomes completely meaningless and chaotic. Just think about that, and has no place for peace and happiness. It becomes alien. Peace and happiness becomes alien when we are in the ego mind, in the wrong mindedness. So it says, yet mind apart from spirit cannot think. We think we are thinking with the mind when we are apart from spirit. It has denied its source. This is all being in the ego. It's denied its source, which is God, its source of strength. Because again, the ego, we believe we are separated from God, which God is our source of strength. And it sees itself helpless. That's the ego. Again, the ego limited and weak. The ego wants us to stay helpless, limited, and weak. Again, disassociated from its function now, the mind, it thinks it is alone and separated. Again, the ego thinks it's alone and separated, attacked by armies massed against itself and hiding in the body's frail support. It says, now must it reconcile unlike with like, for this is what it thinks it is for. It says here again, waste no more time on this. Who can resolve the senseless conflicts which a dream presents, which the illusion presents, which the ego presents? What could the resolution mean in truth? What purpose could it serve? What is it for? Salvation cannot make illusions real, nor solve a problem that does not exist. The ego is not fear, and the ego is not real. We make it all real from that wrong-mindedness. Perhaps you hope it can. You would, or yet, would you have God's plan for the release of his dear son bring pain to him and fail to set him free? Yourself, your higher self, retains its thoughts, the higher thoughts, and they remain within your mind and in the mind of God. The Holy Spirit holds salvation in your mind. That's why we turn to the Holy Spirit and offers it the way to peace. Salvation is a thought you share with God because his voice accepted it for you and answered in your name that it was done. Thus is salvation kept among the thoughts yourself, the thoughts your holy self holds dear and cherishes for you. Now, all of this, these higher self thoughts, this is the healed part of your mind. So God is your mind, is my mind. Light is your mind. Strength is your mind. I should say this again. I'm saying it is your mind, but what I mean to say is God is in your mind, and light is in your mind, and strength is in your mind, and certainty is in your mind. Loving thoughts are in your mind, and truth is in your mind. You know, this is always, always there. It, again, is our higher self. It is our spirit. So it says here, we'll attempt today to find this thought whose presence in your mind is guaranteed by him, who speaks to you from your one self. I'm going to read that again. We will attempt today to find his thought whose presence in your mind is guaranteed by him, the Holy Spirit, who speaks to you from your one self, your higher self. Our hourly 5-minute practicing will be a search for him within your mind. Salvation comes from this one self through him, the Holy Spirit, who is the Holy Spirit, is the bridge between your mind, your ego mind, and it, your holy self thoughts, your holy self. So wait patiently and let him speak to you about your holy self, your higher self, and what your mind can do. Restored it to and free to serve its will. Begin with saying this. Salvation comes from my one self, comes from my higher self, from my holy self, from my innocent self. This your holy self, its thoughts are mine to use. These are the minds we choose to use. You know, when we turn over anything that is not of the right mind, the wrong mind, it is to, when we're recognizing it, to turn it over to the Holy Spirit. Let them go. And let all those wrong-minded thoughts, let them all go, give them over so we can then be given by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will give us the right mindedness, the higher thoughts. It says, you know, then seek its thoughts, the higher mind thoughts, and claim them as your own. Remember, they're always there. These are your own real thoughts that you've denied. We've denied them. And we've let your mind go wandering into a world of dreams to find illusions in their place. See, again, we blind ourselves, we block ourselves by allowing, you know, our mind. The Course says our mind is far too tolerant, or we're far too tolerant, I should say, of mind wandering. So, you know, our higher thoughts are here. Here are your thoughts. You're the only ones that you have. Those are the real thoughts, our holy thoughts, our higher mind thoughts. Salvation is among them. Find it there. If you succeed, the thoughts that come to you will tell you you are saved and that your mind has found the function that it sought to lose. Yourself, your higher self, will welcome it and give it peace. Restore it in strength. It will again flow out from spirit to spirit in all things created by the Spirit as itself. Your mind will bless all things. Confusion done, you are restored. for you have found yourself, your higher self. Your higher self knows that you cannot fail today. Perhaps your mind remains uncertain yet a little while. Be not dismayed by this. The joy yourself experiences, it will save for you, and it will yet be yours in full awareness. Every time you spend 5 minutes of the hour seeking Him, the Holy Spirit, who joins your mind and your higher self, He, again, the Holy Spirit who joined your ego mind and your higher self, you offer Him another treasure to be kept for you. Each time today you tell your frantic mind, that the noise in your mind, the suffering mind, the problematic mind. So each time you tell your frantic mind, salvation comes from your one self, your higher self, you lay another treasure in your growing store. And all of it is given everyone who asks for it. You merely need to ask and will accept the gift. So we need to ask for it and be willing to receive it. Then think how much is given unto you to give this day, that it be given you. So to summarize all this, and the purpose of this lesson is to find the thought of salvation deep within your mind and let it restore your mind to its function of blessing all minds. I'm reminded here, as I even say that, as I say this to you, as my mind heals, your mind heals. And as your mind heals, my mind heals. We are all one. So spirit is what is real. Our higher self, our holy self, our spirit self is, again, what is real. The separated self, the ego that experiences being a body, is unreal. Now, the Holy Spirit, again, divinely helps to bring the mind back to its true function of serving spirit. So today we're seeking in these exercises to reconnect to spirit and to set aside for 5 minutes the thoroughly distracting problems of the physical world, of the physical beings we think that we are, and to open ourselves to these thoughts of spirit, our higher self, our higher thoughts, to allow our minds to find their function as channels of spirit. So this is a quote from the Course text. It says, the extension of God's being is spirit's only function. God's being is love. So you are discovering here yourself as an extender of God's being, God being love. All right. Have a love-filled day as you practice this lesson. And remember, it says, be not dismayed by this lesson at any point, and just continue to do your very best to practice, because there does it says here, you lay another treasure in your growing store. It builds and it grows as you practice. All right, the lesson again for today is salvation comes from my one self. And thank you for being here. And again, viewing this video. I so appreciate it from the bottom of my heart as I continue to build and grow this channel here on YouTube. And as it goes to build, it's important with regards to the algorithms please like, share this video out to others, and to comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so we can continue to grow together. All right. Much love always, and I will see you in the next video for lesson 97. All right. Again, have a love-filled day.